Hey guys, welcome back to Words of War. My name is Jorge Guerra.
And I'm Sergio Guerra.
And today we're going to be reviewing Neighbors, which is the new comedy starring Seth Rogen and Zac Efron, Byrne, and a couple of other familiar faces. So this movie's pretty much, the premise of it is pretty much a married couple with a kid, has a fraternity move in next to them. And of course, you know, they try to be cool, but they have to be responsible for the kid. And so they start butting heads with the fraternity who's just throwing parties and hilarity ensues. So this movie's pretty much, it's from the same guys that did This Is the End. So if you like that movie, this is kind of in your alley, at least in my opinion. This movie thought that on the funny parts, when it was in the funny parts, it was funny and enjoyable. I didn't necessarily think that when they try to make it a little bit more serious, or they try to get a little bit more like, with that undertone with morals and things like that, I don't think it worked too well for them. But that being said, it's a pretty funny movie, definitely a good time. I was constantly laughing, constantly LOLing, but yeah, it definitely plays on a lot of the fraternity stereotypes and growing older and trying to stay young, all that is kind of thrown in there. I think Zac Efron did a good job. Dave Franco was in this, which he's a pretty funny guy. But again, just on the serious parts, I didn't think it melded too well, or it didn't work too well. But definitely funny and definitely a good time. McLovin's in this. There's some familiar faces, especially in the beginning. They have a lot of little cameos and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty cool, and I enjoyed it. What did you think?
I thought it was a pretty enjoyable film. I wasn't very interested, actually, based on the commercials. It didn't look like it'd be that funny. But when we got there, it was enjoyable all the way through. I also thought that it was kind of a weird mix of, funny moments with some slightly more serious moments that I don't think really mixed very well. In This Is the End, you had a lot of comedy all the way through. It was very, just outlandish, very big comedy. Every couple of seconds you're laughing. Here, they do try and stick a little bit more to seriousness of the fact that they have a kid, mm-hmm. That they're adults now, like Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. What's her last name?
Yeah, Rose Byrne.
Byrne?
B-Y-R-E-N-E.
Sorry, Rose. So the fact that they're young people kind of now thrown into the responsible adult life, yeah. And having these kids move in next door that are partying and all that kind of. They want to stick to that. They want to still be like the cool kids, and they go over there and try and party with them and all that stuff. But it seemed to me that when the rivalry kind of starts, which is back and forth, it got even more muddled. You didn't since they were kind of like friends, and then they were kind of enemies, and they're the kind of friends again. It just you never really feel, at least for me, that there's really any kind of major fighting going on, except for the fact that they're telling you, yeah, we're going to take these guys down, we're going to take these guys down. It just doesn't seem very believable. You don't need that in a comedy, I guess, but since some of the stuff, Zac Efron did a really good job, with his character, since some of the stuff that was more grounded, was actually, very well done, and it could have maintained a good story, it seemed to me they kind of were lacking in that congruency, of the rivalry, maybe, Anyways, but it's still enjoyable. There's a lot of little jokes. Some are hit and miss. But if you like the This Is the End type stuff, if you like Seth Rogen type stuff, 420 type stuff, then definitely you'll like it. As far as the rating, I probably, I'd give it right at a 7. I don't think this was as great. It's not going to be a comedy classic. It's not to me as funny as This Is the End was. But you could go, you can enjoy it, you can have some fun with some friends, and and yeah, if you're looking for something to laugh at for this weekend, you'd probably do good by watching it. So what'd you think?
I'm gonna go with an 8, just because like I said, I would watch this again. And I would probably pick it up just because I really think that in the funny parts they were funny. I think everybody pretty much did a pretty good job on their parts too. Like there's this crazy couple that they have, and I love the girl that plays her like crazy friend. She's always usually in these movies, and I think she always plays crazy pretty good. But yeah, it was enjoyable for me, and I really liked like the way they set up. So it wasn't like, especially with fraternity stuff, it wasn't like Revenge of the Nerds kind of stereotype stuff, but it was all in there, and I thought it was a good mix. And as far as things that have come out lately, I thought it was fun. It was a good ride, so I definitely did enjoy it. So I probably watch it again. So I'm gonna go with an 8. But let us know what you thought. In the bottom, comments, likes, all that good jazz. Like, share, subscribe if you'd be so kind. But yeah, I mean, let us know what you thought. If you thought if you were in a fraternity, if you thought it was anything like that, because I know we did that, and it was just funny to see some of the stereotypes. But once again, my name is Jorge Guerra.
And I'm Sergio Guerra.
You have a good one. Bye.